Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for Cathexis Partners webinar, Blackbaud Razor's Edge NXT 101. We go ahead and hit the next slide. Appreciate you joining us today. My name is Mark Becker. I'm the founding partner of Cathexis Partners. And we're a virtual team that just helps nonprofit organizations all across North America. We've been doing it for actually 11 years as of the 1st of next month. Happy anniversary to us. And thank you for all the clients we've been able to support over the years. But today we're going to be talking all about Razor's Edge. I'm going to be doing very little talking because I am not the expert. I'm going to hand it off here in a second to the expert, but just want to point out that this is a 101 session. So we're really going to be covering the basics of Razor's Edge, and this is going to be intended to be kind of a series. So if this is too base level for you, don't worry, we'll be doing other future sessions in more details of different modules, and would love to hear your feedback in the follow-up survey as far as what type of topics you would like covered. But without any further ado, oh, and please, as you're thinking of questions, feel free to add those in the questions tab on the control panel. We'll get to those along the way or at the very end, but definitely please put them in there as you're thinking of them before you forget. And again, thanks for joining us. And now I'm going to hand it off to Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin Fleischman. I'm a strategic consultant for Cathexis Partners. I have over a decade in advancement services, development services, working with nonprofits. So we are going to dive right in and start with the basics. Here's the overview. Obviously, basics. Where are we going to find what? How do we find out where to add somebody? How do we find out where to look someone up? How do we find where to new gifts, new actions, new notes? Create a query list. Query is database version. List is NXT version. Mean the same thing. And then we'll go over documentation. Really important piece of the whole process. So, a few different ways to log into NXT. We have the SSO, single sign-on, such as Google, which you can see to the right. You have from your hosted website, and you have from via blackbaud.com. I'm going to switch over and let's go. My preferred version is I have it bookmarked, and I go right to my bookmark. And I prefer the single sign-on, so I sign in with my Google. It brings me in. Here. I'm going to be going into the NXT version. A lot of you may not see that screen because you don't have an admin account. What's new? This always pops up, tells you the latest and greatest of what's coming out or what to expect or what has recently come out. A lot of times if you're new, this is a great place to do a little reading, see what they're offering. If not, you can just exit out, be done. Again, you've got updates here on the left, tasks. So what are you going to work on? Recently assessed things. Pretty simple so far, yeah? All right, so we're going to start with what's where. Fundraising. If this is for the development team, mostly tells them, what kind of, who's in their portfolio, the gifts, the actions. This top screen is things that need something happening with them. So, and it will give you an overview. Like I said, this is for the fundraisers. There's reporting that also accompanies this. Just going to take a quick look. And we're not going to create any reports here. But you can see you can have all kinds of information here. Marketing, again, that's your marketing team, social media, that type of thing. Events, again, self-explanatory. Lists we will get into later. There are different types of lists. Analysis, this is more for your business intelligence, database administrator type tools. Workflow designer and data health, again, for database administrator or those creating workflow designs, which is kind of like action tracks. You know, what do I need to see for this to happen or that to happen? And then finally, control panel, which is definitely your database administrator. This is where they give people access and security rights, what they can and cannot see and access in the system. So our first topic is how to look up a constituent. It's really easy. Click on the magnifying glass. I'm obviously going with Jack Test here. It will bring you all the things that have Jack. So let's limit it a little more. Jack Test. I will highlight, click. Gosh, my system's running slow today, of course.
Murphy's Law.
Of course. And we're in Jack Test's record. We will be dealing with Jack a lot today. You will get to know him very well. So, are we good? Any questions on how to look somebody up?
No questions yet.
Cool. Good, good. I'm going to go back to the home page because our next topic is how to add a constituent. Obviously, you have to be logged into NXT. You have to have the permission from your database administrator to add a record. You're going to be at the home page, add a constituent. Are we adding a constituent or an organization? I want to add an individual in this case. And this, what you fill out and how much you fill out is kind of based on your policies and procedures with your organization. Some organizations love titles, some do not. So we are going to go with, I'm going to create Jill Test. Obviously female, I guess not obviously. And we're going to say her date of birth. Well, we're going to go that way. We're going to go, she was born on the 1st of January in 1998. I'm going to add the address. It's going to be her home address. It's actually going to, what it will do is I'm going to enter an address without searching for it because I'm old. Jill doesn't really exist, so we don't really want it to say, oh. We are going to make this her primary. not seasonal. She wants to get mail from us, so we're all good there. We're done with the address. If we had a phone number for her, we'd add it. If we had an email address, this is where we'd add that. Again, emails have different types. We have only email here. You could have a business email, you could have a personal email, you could have, a work email. So if they own their own business, business is their business. Work is where they work. Things like that. So we're not going to add online presence, Twitter, Facebook, any of those types of accounts would be added in here. Constituent codes. How are they associated with us? We're going to say that she's just a friend, and she has become our friend today. We don't have an end date. She's staying our friend. We're going to make sure of that. Primary addressee. I'm going to go with this. There are different options you will find in NXT that you can choose from, and it will explain. It's going to include what we chose for the addressee is title and spouse title with first name, middle initial, and last name. So if she had a spouse, if we had Mr. and Mrs., it would show all that. Let's see. I just want first names for salutations. And we save.
There was a couple of questions that came up.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Do required constituent fields in database view flow over to NXT and are also required there?
They do, yes.
Perfect. If we use Address Accelerator to help with address finding and formatting, will that service work in NXT as well?
Yes, so where it asked me to look up an address, to search for an address, that's the Address Accelerator stepping in.
Got it. And one more, might be getting ahead of ourselves, but can you speak to matching algorithms against existing records like deduping, or do you cover that at all?
We are not going to cover that at all in here. If you had tried to add a duplicate record, you would get a message coming up that you have a possible duplicate, but that's it. I don't want to get too far into deduping and all that. That's a little more advanced than this session.
Fair enough. Tune in for future sessions on that, because I think that's a whole topic in and of itself, right?
It is.
One more quick one. Birthday, I believe, is a fussy date. How does that work in NXT?
The fuzzy date?
Fussy.
So, well, what they're asking is because let's see, let's go down. It's not going to let me. If we try to, let's go, because we already entered her, so it's not going to. If we try to enter a month and a year, it gets kind of grumpy with us. So it does not like. So if we just said,
it's going to error out on if you don't follow the format.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll have a John test. So I'm just going to save so we can so I put in a fuzzy date of January of '98. It will take it. supposed to take it, but it will be grumpy with this. Oh, it didn't even grumpy at me. Nice. Usually it'll say, "Are you sure you want to?" So
right. I'm not sure how nice that is. Yeah, it'd be a little bit better to have a check there.
Yeah, so you do get the fuzzy date. So if you only have month and year, you can do that. If you have month and day, it's a little tougher because it thinks the day is the year. So just be aware of that. Are we good so far?
Yep, doing great.
All right. You're going to move on to how to add a new gift. So first off, you have to find the constituent record that you want to add the gift to. Yes, there are other ways of doing batches and so forth, but we're staying with the basics right now. Just this person gave a gift, it's a one-off, we're going to enter it individually. Right now in the web view, you can only add donations cash through the web view. So, be aware of that. So you can do it, go into here and go down to his giving history. You want to add a gift. You can also do it from the home page. And where I clicked on add a constituent, right below that is add gift. And you can do it from there also. So Jack here is going to be a generous donor for us. He just gave us $5,000. It's not anonymous. It's a one-time gift. It's not a planned gift. 4021 could be a gift subtype saying like it's an unrestricted or restricted or something to that effect. He's not giving in response to an appeal, so we don't have to do that. But he is, giving to our campaign of EDC. And the fund for this we'll go with the Schnick-Lillicoon Fund. You could split the gift if he was giving to two different campaigns, two different gifts. He was giving $2,500 for this and $2,500 for that. You could do that here. If we want a soft credit, if Jack is married to Jill, we could add the soft credit to Jill here. But since we haven't linked them, we're not going to go into that. It needs an acknowledgement. What kind of acknowledgement is? It's a scholarship, thank you. He needs a receipt. Because of the amount, it needs an acknowledgement. Not every gift has to have an acknowledgement. It does need a receipt. We are going to post it. If there's any comments regarding this, you would put them here and save. You will now see the gift on his record.
Great stuff. A couple more questions quickly here. Someone saw that there was a drop down for gift type, which is default to one-time gift. Is that the only option, or is that configurable?
It is configurable. So on the one-time gift, you can drop. Oh, it doesn't like it. Gotta have it. Okay, he's gonna be real generous today. It is a configurable. We haven't done that. So you can have a one-time gift, you could have a recurring gift, you could have a pledge, what have you. So yes, that is configurable.
Got it. And does NXT honor the rename fields on RE fields? subtype of gift for us is renamed to bank, will the field label say bank on NXT, or will it still default to whatever it was labeled to?
If you've renamed it in RE, NXT should be mirroring that. So if you named it bank, it would come back bank.
Got it. Another question real quickly, and then we'll move on and save some of them till the end to make sure you can cover everything. Can you link spouses in NXT? I think you were showing a relationship earlier, right?
Yes. So over here on relationships, you would add an individual relationship or an organization if you want to. Jack test is, we're going to find, we'll go ahead, do Jill test. And all your reciprocals.
Perfect,
Jill.
Thanks.
So very easy. If you know what day they got married or when they came in, Jill test is the spouse. Let me save. And they are now linked. Good
Perfect.
there?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So actions. With actions, we'll stay with Jack here, but there are different types of actions. You have constituent actions, which are phone calls, meetings, lunch appointments, letters, emails, follow-up calls, etc. Anything you're doing with the constituent. Appeal actions, things that need to happen for an appeal to be sent out. So with an appeal action, it's like maybe your creatives for the mailing or whatever, the working out something with the schedule for the mail house, when the list needs to be to the mail house, that type of thing is an appeal action. There are event actions, things that need to happen for an event to be successful. And there are proposal actions. Proposal actions document actions your organization intends to follow in pursuit of a donation. These get linked to the proposal and they can include dinner meetings, mailings, phone calls, coffee, in the morning, whatever, your development team is doing to move that person forward in a proposal, also known as, it's a proposal in Razor's Edge. It's an opportunity in NXT. So you will learn that language is different between the two. So we're going to take a look at constituent actions. So if you were at the home page, you would look up who you were going to add the action on. We've already got Jack up here. I told you you're going to get to know Jack pretty well. We're going to scroll down and we're going to find notes and actions. As you can see, Jack has no notes and no actions. We are going to add an action. What kind of action is it? Well, I want to assign a task. It's a future task. So this is, if I had a meeting with Jack and I came back to the office to enter it, I would have meeting and I would click past because it's already happened. I actually want to set a future one. I want to set that I want to actually try to send him something. Let's see, what are we going to do? Maybe because he gave so well, we're gonna send him a gala invitation. I want to make sure I don't forget to do this. And I want to do that since he gave today. We'll send the invitation next week. A summary. And then you could say any notes, why, what your logic is, what your plan is, any notes to add to this action, and then save. He now has a gala invitation task other, so he's gonna see this gala invitation next week. We're gonna add a note. Notes and actions. Some people get confused about what's the difference. We're doing something. Notes are more informational information. Actions are actually doing something with the constituent. They mean something. Your actions are, what are you doing to bring this person in a closer relationship with our organization? Where a note is more informational. They're, a board member of, well, I don't know, we'll make them a board member. We're going to put a biographical. And we're putting it in today. And we're just going to say board member. He is the board member of ABC Foundation. So this gives us information about him. We're not doing anything. It's just letting us know information on him. So now we see a note and we see an action. Any question on notes?
There was kind of a related question. What is the comment field in RE database view?
Comment field in the database view? On the note?
I don't think it's regarding the note. It came in a few minutes ago. So I guess they saw the comment field in NXT when you were looking around, and does that translate over to RE database view, I'm assuming?
It does. It depends on where the comment is, where it feeds through to. So if it's
however it's mapped, right?
Right. So this comment field would be under the notes. So it's wherever
Perfect.
It's mapped to. So that's a really quick kind of overview of that type of information. Obviously, there's contact information. If you ever had to update, you would edit and update any of this information. If we needed to update any of his personal information, as you can see at the top, there's edit. Now we can go in and we can change stuff. We can add aliases if we needed to. So anything further in this area, obviously, if we did our due diligence and decide he needed a solicitor or a fundraiser, we would assign someone here. So any appeals he received, you would see there, proposals or opportunities. If he ended up becoming a member of one of our giving clubs, or if he volunteered. Ratings, that's if you've done target analytics or wealth engine or any of those types of things. Custom fields are very similar to attributes in the database view. So any questions on the constituent itself at this point?
There was a question. Where does the action show up? Do you get a reminder to complete the task that you just created, or does the task trigger an email invitation or anything like that?
Yes, you can set them up for reminders. So you would get a reminder. So a reminder will come up on, I think I set it for August 26th. A reminder will come up that Jack needs an invitation sent.
Perfect, thanks.
So, all right. So we are going to move to lists and how to create a new list. There are different types of lists: actions, constituent, gifts, and opportunities. So you got to ask, what are you trying to accomplish? What is the best way to get there? Is it based on data? Is it based on a location? Is it a combination of the two? You know, what are we trying to reach? What is our goal? So for this session, we're going to say we're having an intimate event. That intimate event is going to be located in Charleston, South Carolina. We know from past experience that about 10% of all invitees don't respond or don't show. We're looking to have about 10 guests at this intimate event. So we need to invite around 12 constituents to get our 10 guests. So obviously we're looking for constituents. So we select constituents. We want to build a new list. So if there was a saved list that you wanted to look at, you could do that. If you wanted a static query, we want to build a new list from scratch, fine tune it the way we want it. All right, filters. We are going to focus on filtering our list. We're going to do it by location because our event is in Charleston. So, and we're going to filter by radius. You can draw a map. So if you have an area, you could, you know, draw a circle, or you could draw a square or a triangle or parallelogram, whatever you wanted to. You could draw around an area and select everybody within that parameter of that filter. We're going to filter by radius. And our event is in Charleston, South Carolina. And since we're not really sure how many people we have in that area, we're going to say we're going to do a 100-mile radius. And we are going to apply the filter. And you can see my filter is right here. All right. It says in that 100-mile radius, I have 67 constituents. Okay, that's way more than I was expecting. And that's not nearly what we need, you know, we need to really scale that back. So we're going to go back into location and we're going to say, let's go 50 miles and apply the filter. Okay, we're closer. We're down to 19. So we're getting better. So let's see, what could we do? We can kind of glance at our list here and see what kind of people we've got, and if there's an idea of, let's add giving history as a filter. So our location, still Charleston and 50-mile radius, but now we're going to limit by the giving history also. So let's say giving is, we're going to say total giving is greater or equal than, let's say, $1. That will rule out anybody who has never given a gift. There are other ways of doing this. Obviously, there's, you know, your usual equal to, greater than, less than. We're just going to go this way. So, and we're going to leave it at within any time to any campaign, fund, appeal, any gift type, doesn't matter. And we're going to apply the filter again. We now have 12 constituents. So we have our invite list. We have the 12 constituents that meet our criteria. So we can now name it, name our list. We can save it, share it, export it, whatever we need to. With this, you have a few options when saving your list. You can save as a new list. It will save it in NXT only. You can save in the database view as a static query or in the database view as a query list. Sometimes that's good if you're, if you want to do further filtering or something that NXT doesn't offer, you can do it in the database view, have it, do it that way. We're just going to save this as a new list. And this is going to be Charleston. Make sure when you're naming that it's something that is descriptive of what it's actually doing. So it's understandable, so people don't have to open it and try and figure out what it was for. The description for intimate dinner event in Charleston for, let's go with in September. The other things you have to look at, no one else can access this. That means you are the only one that can look at this list, change this list, do anything with this list. So if somebody else needs access to, modify it or export it or just look at it to say, yeah, I agree with that list, that's great, those people would be good. You got to make sure that you give other people access. Others can view, others can manage, means others can change. So you got to make sure that how do you want this, to be dealt with.
Can that be filtered down by just, some people can view, like in security, RE security, or is it kind of all or nothing?
It's more of an all or nothing, but what you can do is you can share. When you share, you're given this link, and you can copy this link and send it to the people you want to share with. But in order for them to be able to see this, you have to select that others can view. But this is how you share it.
Perfect.
All right. And then obviously you can export the list. And if you see in the bottom right corner, it said it was exporting, and then it went to a green, export completed, download file. When you click here, it will ask you, where do you want to download this? Where do you want to save it at? So, select where you choose to download the file and complete the process from there. Any questions on that? I know it was kind of...
No, that was great. There are a couple questions. Does the save list save a query or an export?
The save is only for the list, the query list. So it will only, this one, the way I saved, it will only be in NXT, and it will only be this list.
Can you pull up the downloaded file?
I did not actually download it. So if you wanted to, you could download. You would have to click here. What do you want to do with it? So you would then open it, and then you could download it from there, save it wherever you wanted to. Modify it, play with it.
Looking to see that. Perfect. Is solicit code an option in the custom fields of the filters? So within filters, can you filter on solicit code?
There are custom fields. So if you have custom fields, those are kind of attributes. So you have
Perfect.
those that you can filter on. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And I mean, you do have wealth ratings, you have education. If you're a university or a K through 12 or something, you want to look at people from a certain class year or something you're targeting. You've looked at. So there are many, many different, ways of filtering down. So, and here's where you'd, by solicitor. So, okay.
Great. Thanks.
All right. So for us, this is, oh goodness, we have skipped through all the way. So I'm going to take us all the way down because we just did all this live. Documentation. This is so important for you as a user. If you're a database administrator, it's like critical. Establish policies and procedures for everything you do and document it. And make sure that documentation is readily accessible to those in your organization who need it. If you win the lottery tomorrow and you say, I'm out of here, how are they going to pick up where you left off? How is anybody going to know how to do what you do? It needs to be documented. Make sure your documentation is clear and easily understood, and make sure your documentation is complete. This is a piece of the whole thing that usually gets forgotten or is shuffled to the bottom of the list consistently because people are too busy doing their regular job to worry about documentation. But if you allot an hour a day, an hour a week, an hour a month, whatever it is that you can spare to start putting together documentation, you will reap the benefits. It's just critical. I can't emphasize enough how important that is.
I agree, and we get that request all the time to help organizations with documentation. And while it's great for our business, it's not what we want to hear, and it's not what we want to be doing. And it's definitely something that you spend. It's awful, right? Documentation isn't always the most fun thing to do, but you'll be so happy and grateful that it's there when the time comes.
You will, absolutely. We've seen it too many times the other way, right?
Exactly.
All right. Woohoo! You made it. So we've made it through, and you've now got the basics of NXT.
That's awesome. Yeah, there were some other questions that have been coming in, and thank you for all that, Aaron. I've learned a bunch, and it sounds like based on the questions, others are finding it informative. Here's some other ones for you. Can you filter by membership information in List?
All right.
Some pretty specific ones I left here for the end.
Right. I apologize. Let's get back to the right one. So can we filter by membership on the list?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
So what you can filter by is what we've got. So if it's not in here, you don't have that option, unfortunately. So
maybe if it's a custom field or something like that, but yeah, otherwise, no.
If you've got the membership module, then you're not going to see it here. But if you tag your membership, if you tag them, you've got tags, you can use the tags. Or if they're custom fields, which are attributes in the database view, you could do it that way also.
Perfect. Another question that came in was, how do you run a list so that it shows both spouses' names as you would do for mailing an invitation? For example, we would want it to pull Mr. and Mrs. Jack Test using your example. There doesn't seem to be anything in NXT that corresponds to RE's primary addressee.
Yeah, all right. Well, here's where you can do all your, these are, and problem is these are hard coded, so you don't get to change them. So if it's not in here, you don't. And that's why a lot of times when you're doing something, it's good to save it as a query list or a static query, so that you can do more with it within the database view. I mean, they give you a lot of options. These are all columns that you could choose to deal with, but it's, it is limited. They are improving this, but it's still very, very limited. And yeah, sometimes you have to figure out the workaround, which means static queries in the database view.
Got it. And in your example where you have the 12 names in the list example, and you use the map function, the proximity, is there any way to export the map to Word or otherwise? I'm guessing probably not.
The map itself, no, because we're just doing a radius, so it's just automatic. The other option we would have, like I said, is if we go back to location, and well, let's go back. We want to draw a map. And we're gonna so here's Charleston area, and this shows us how many people are in the area. So we could do a rectangle, which sometimes takes you out over the water and so forth. We could do a custom area. So with the custom area, it gets kind of tricky. You just gotta, whoa, come on. That gets kind of tricky. Okay, so custom isn't gonna work for me today. I don't have my pen with me, but you can draw. Where do I wanna, this is the area I wanna cover. And then you apply that filter.
Perfect.
And then you apply the filter. So
awesome.
So you have the map and the radius, and if you want to get rid of one of them, you just click and say, nope, I don't want that.
Nice, easy enough.
So,
can you show how to log into the database view from within here?
Oh, absolutely. If you go up, I call this my pancake list, my pancake stack. So click on your pancakes, open database view. Open it. I apologize. My internet seems to be so slow today.
That's just how it works when you're doing one of these things live, but so much better than the screenshots. It's always good to have the screenshots just in case, but so much nicer to see it actually happening, even if it is sometimes slow.
Yeah, right. And I'm in the database view.
Perfect.
And if you want
right.
just a quick thing, if you ever want to in queries, you need to create an NXT folder here, and that's where you can put queries that you want to be able to look at both NXT and in NXT and from NXT. So
oh, nice.
Just quick tip.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Just another question or two before we wrap up, unless anybody else puts any in here, but you mentioned at the beginning how to sign in, because I know we reached out to Blackbaud saying that we were going to be doing this. We asked if there's anything specific that we should cover, and they said that the number one thing that they hear is, questions about how to log in, which first of all was initially was surprising, but not once you think about it, because you can get in a variety of different ways. Any other tips you would have? It looks like saving it as a favorite is definitely the way to go. But any other tips about just being able to log in easily to the environment?
Single sign-on is obviously quickest, easiest. You bookmark, you use single sign-on. You saw how quickly I got in. From the hosted website, it's you can bookmark that, but then you're typing in your username and your password. Same thing if you're going to blackbaud.com. It's not actually gonna, since I'm already logged in, it's not gonna. It would normally have something up here. See, I'm already logged in, but you could click up there and it would take you to a login screen. I'm already logged in.
And because you use single sign-on, is that why you were able to switch over to database view without having to log in again?
Yes, that's single sign-on is great for that. They have made tremendous improvements, because it used to be you had to bookmark 2 different websites for NXT and for the database view, and you had to remember 2 different logins and 2 different passwords and everything. They have made this, it's not because of the single sign-on. Once you're logged in, you have this access.
Perfect.
And you may not see all this depending on what your permissions are.
Right. All right. I think that takes us to the end of the questions. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Last thing, click on your name and you can sign out. Don't forget to sign out.
Right. So there was some questions. Just to remind everybody, this is being recorded, and we will be sharing the recording of the session after the fact. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also post it to our resources page of the CathexisPartners.com website, where this video, along with many other hopefully helpful videos for you, will be available. So don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any questions, or if we can be of any further assistance, we're here to help, and keep an eye out. And in the follow-up survey, please tell us what other kind of topics you would like to have covered by Erin in the future. And Erin, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.